Hi, this is Sue Jackson of the Book by Book blog, and I'm here with another Friday Reads. Coming to you from a different location today. I apologize for the non-bookish background. My chronic illness is still badly flared up. I am extremely achy today, as I have been for 2 months now. Still don't know why. Ruled out a couple of other things yesterday, but still have no answers. I didn't think I could manage sitting up. I'm on the couch sideways so that my feet are up with a bunch of pillows supporting me. Still very achy, so I'm not gonna, this will be a shortish video because I know I need to get back to lying completely flat. But since last week was Thanksgiving and I missed my Friday reads, I really wanted to catch you up. And this was an unusual week for me because if you watch my channel, you know I'm a monogamous reader. I usually read one book at a time, start to finish, and then move on to the next. I like to completely immerse myself in a story and just focus on one, although I do always have an audiobook going as well. So I was reading over the Thanksgiving break. I was reading Tell Me More by Kelly Corrigan. It's a memoir, a book of kind of loose essays. I say that because they're even shorter than essays, but she's woven together a bunch of different short pieces, essays, if you will, in each of the chapters. And the subtitle of this is Stories About the 12 Hardest Things I'm Learning to Say. So that's how she's structured it. So those 12 things are things like, tell me more, I don't know, I know, no, yes, I was wrong, good enough, things like that. And under each of these topics, she has woven together some amazing stories from her own life. If you're not familiar with Kelly, I first learned of her by hearing her on several podcasts. Several of my favorite podcasts, including Everything Happens with Kate Bowler. She and Kelly had a fabulous conversation. They both have great senses of humor, and Kelly always speaks and writes with that sense of humor. So here, what kind of triggered or inspired this book was the death of her father, which I can very much relate to, and the death of one of her best friends, who was far too young, had 3 kids, died of cancer. So yeah, these are some difficult, challenging, deep topics here. But as always, she dives in with so much warmth and honesty and, yes, humor that you just want to keep reading. I have laughed out loud with this book. I've teared up several times, especially when she's talking about her dad. Don't know if you can tell, but I use a bookmark. I'm not an animal, but I do, if it's my own book, I do use tiny dog ears to note down quotes and passages that I want to remember. And this book is just full of them. I feel like I'm tagging every single page, but it's just wonderful. Highly recommend this book. So I was enjoying it very much. I'm getting close to the end. And then we got back from visiting my family for Thanksgiving, which is like a 7-hour drive up to upstate New York. And we got home Sunday night. The library was already closed. And then I looked online and found out that the book I had put a hold on for our book group selection this week was still not in yet. So I broke down. I actually bought the audio. I very rarely buy audiobooks. I get a lot of review books, so it's rare that I buy an audiobook, but I did do I'm not a member of Audible, but I did do a one-time purchase on Audible to get the audiobook. Started that Sunday night. My friend who is co-hosting with me for book group, she very kindly on Monday dropped her library copy off for me so that I could, so I was double timing, listening on audio and reading. So I guess I should tell you the title of this book. It is Chicago by Brian Doyle. And what a wonderful surprise this book has been. My friend who was co-hosting, so my book group, it's started as a neighborhood book group. Many of them don't live in the neighborhood anymore. And over the years, we've added members, friends from outside the neighborhood. But it's a great group. It's been around for a long time. In fact, we celebrated our 200th book read for book group in January of this year. And I always feel bad because I did at the beginning volunteer to host. We take turns hosting the meeting. And whoever hosts presents the books to choose from for next time. And early on, I did offer to host. And then the day of, I was in a bad flare with my chronic illness. Had to cancel at the last minute. They had to scramble for somebody else to do it, and I felt awful. Now this was probably like 12 years ago. So this friend of mine very kindly, and she's done this before, offered to have it at her house with me as the official host. So I chose the books to vote on. I baked a dessert. We had blueberry gingerbread. With blueberries inside and a blueberry sauce with whipped cream. I think it was very good. I can't eat sugar or flour right now. And I brought Prosecco so that my friend could make some holiday cocktails for everyone. So so this allows me to host, but without the pressure. In fact, I had told her earlier this week I might not make it. But I did. I made it to the meeting, which is probably why I'm in such bad shape today. So the book, let's get back to the book. So it was my friend who was co-hosting who chose this book for us. She said it would be perfect for December when things are so busy and stressful because it was a shorter book and she had read it already and thought it was very uplifting. And she was right on all counts. Everybody loved this book. This might have been our highest rating ever. So I think, we rate out of 10, and there were 9 of us at the meeting, and the final average was 8.8, which I don't think we've ever rated anything quite that high before. So this book is very much as the title sounds. It's a love letter to Chicago. It's written in the first person, and we never know the name of the narrator, but he's a man just out of college in his early 20s who, in 1976, who moves into an apartment building in Chicago for his first job. He's a journalist, and his first job is writing for, I don't know if it's local or national, but I'm thinking it's a Chicago area Catholic magazine. First job, first apartment, and it's all about, so it's a coming of age story, but it's also very much about the community, both within his apartment building and in Chicago as a whole. And how when he first moves in, he hardly knows anyone. Well, he doesn't know anyone. And how little by little he gets to know people. So I didn't realize until just a couple of days ago when I looked up the book online that Brian Doyle is also the author of Mink River, which my friend Melinda over at A Web of Stories has been raving about all year. So Melinda, I can see what you mean now. He's an excellent writer. And yesterday at book group, everybody wanted to read more by Brian Doyle. So I told them about Mink River and about Melinda's rave reviews, and everybody wrote it down. So you are helping to spread the word, Melinda. So I was double timing for a few days, listening on audio, had to put my other audio aside, and also reading it in print. The print copy was due back to the library, so I gave it back to my friend yesterday. So now I'm just listening on audio, but I'm really enjoying it and looking forward to hearing the rest of it. The author has this way of describing things that is just so, I don't even know how to put it. We had trouble putting it into words during book group yesterday. His prose is just beautiful. And the other unique thing about this book, which I understand is a feature of his other books, including Mink River, is just a touch of magical realism. In this case, there is a very special dog who lives in the apartment building with a man who does maintenance for the building. And I was, like I said, I was trying to get through this fast so that I could finish by book group. I didn't, but I don't listen at higher speed with a book, but I was listening all the time when I was doing other things, so I'd get distracted. So I thought that the character of Edward was a dog. And then I got to a later passage where it's talking about Edward doing some remarkable things. And I thought, oh, I must have misheard that. I thought Edward was a dog. And then my friend dropped her print copy off, and I went back to the beginning. I was like, oh, Edward is a dog. So Edward is a remarkable dog. We all loved his inclusion in the book, his character, which is a fully formed character. We were talking yesterday about another book we read. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm getting fuzzy because I've been sitting up for too long. Remarkably Bright Creatures, and I forgot the author, but I'll put it up here. We read that in January. That was our 200th book. And we all said that the octopus in Remarkably Bright Creatures reminded us a bit of Edward the dog in Chicago. So this book is highly recommended by my entire book group. We never all agree on a book. That's what makes our discussion so interesting. But everyone was in complete agreement on this one. So definitely check it out. And Melinda, you will definitely like it. Okay, I really need to go lie down again. So that's what I'm reading this week. And I did miss hearing all your updates last week. So I'm very interested to hear what you're reading. Please let me know in the comments down below, and take a moment to like and subscribe to my channel.